Hey there, it's Warren Wheeler here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how you can speed up your website so it's loading super fast and to avoid the new rollout that Google is starting to implement in Google Chrome, which some people are calling it the badge of shame. So basically what they're doing now is adding a little badge to slow loading websites, and I'll put an image up here showing that from Chromium, their blog. And what they're going to be doing is showing this badge, and it's going to say this site usually loads slow or something like that. You'll see it in a second. But this is going to affect people coming to your website. A lot of the time, if people see this, they might click the back button. It's going to increase bounce rate. It's going to affect your conversions. It's going to affect a lot of things, and possibly your rankings as well. We all know that site speed and user experience is a bit of a factor for rankings. So it's important that you act on this now so you get ahead of your competition, and also so you're giving Google what they want, and that's fast loading websites. And ultimately it's going to give your users a good experience and give them their content that they're looking for ultra fast. So we're going to be looking at how you can speed up your website, the plugins that I've been using, but I'm going to jump on my computer. I'm going to have a look at a few things, talk about some best practices, and just what you can do moving forward to improve your overall site and the speed of the site as well. So let's jump on the computer and get started. Alrighty, so on the Chromium blog, they go into this badge of shame a little bit more, and also the Verge, they done an article about it. Google plans to give slow loading websites a new badge of shame in Chrome. You can have a read of this. I'll leave links in the description for you to check it out. But basically, what you want to do is jump on this as soon as possible, because as you can imagine, if people are looking at this little badge here, it may look like a warning sign, and people are going to actually probably click the back button because they're going to be too scared to visit your site. So it's going to affect a lot of things, and your conversions as well. But have a read of them and get a bit of an understanding. It just makes sense because Google's looking to increase speed because it gives people a good user experience, and that's what you want to be doing for your websites anyway. You want to make sure when people land on your site, they're getting the answers they want, they're getting things super fast, they're getting things easily, and just giving them a good user experience is only going to help you in the long run. So I'll leave links to these articles and you can check those out. I'm just going to get out of those now. But in my website, Authority Rocket, I'm going to be using this as an example. I'll go ahead, I've already installed WP Rocket, and if you want to have a look at WP Rocket, just simply click the link in the description if you want to go through my affiliate link, or just go to w-rocket.me and you'll come to this page and have a read through it. It goes into detail what it is and what it does. It's not something I'm going to go into because really this plugin is perfect for people that aren't tech savvy and don't care about all the technical jargon. They just want fast loading websites and they want it quickly. And that's exactly what WP Rocket does. I'll just show you the price really quickly. It is a $49 license for one website. So if you've got multiple websites, maybe go for the $99 plan, and this is the one I use. I purchased this on the Black Friday. I think I bought it for $199, or it might have been cheaper. But this has definitely helped my sites load so much quicker. And if you try and do this with free plugins, you're going to come across all sorts of headaches. I've done it myself. I know a lot about WordPress, so it was something that I could manage and do, and I did it with free plugins, but I had to use multiple different plugins, where now I'm just using WP Rocket and it just works perfectly. So I highly recommend checking them out. I'll leave the link in the description. That will be my affiliate link if you want to go through my link. It will be no extra cost to you. I'll just get the commission for it, and you'll be supporting my channel if you do. If not, simply just Google WP Rocket and you'll find it. So I've already got it installed on my site. I'm just going to go in and uninstall it, and we'll do a couple of tests. So Authority Rocket, this is where I have my article writing service. I've got some blog posts on there as well. I'll just quickly update my plugins. This is something that you should do every time you log in as well. If you see some plugins that are need updating, I highly recommend updating them ASAP. As you can see, I have quite a few plugins here. So it's, the more plugins that you have, the slower your site is going to potentially load. So I highly recommend, if you can, avoid using this many plugins, or if you've got more plugins than I have, maybe go through those plugins and just determine if you really need them or not. A lot of these I've got because I use the forms and things like that I have, so I've kept them. Now WP Rocket, I've already installed it. Basically what happens after purchasing, you'll get a download. Simply upload that by going into, I'm just going to deactivate it really quickly. So I'll just deactivate that. And all you have to do to add it is simply go to Add New in your WordPress dashboard, click Upload Plugin, and then drag that download from WP Rocket in there, and then activate it. So I'm going to go to one of my posts. I'll also show you my settings that I have. It's very easy to use. Alright, so this is one of my articles that I have on Authority Rocket. I'm just going to grab that URL for that article. I'm going to put it into GT Metrics, and we will get a score from that. I'll also put it into Pingdom Tools. I'm going to select the North American data center that they use, and I'm also going to use Measure by WebDev, their light, what's it called? Light speed or something like that. Lighthouse speed test. It's an open source speed test platform that they have. Basically, we'll run this one first. This is without WP Rocket installed, and it's not really that slow. I mean, there's a fair few requests and things like that. The page size is actually huge, and that's probably because of the images that I use. I probably should actually optimize those before I even do a test, but I'm going to show you the difference that just having WP Rocket uninstalled and WP Rocket installed makes. So we'll just keep a note of that. I'm going to run a test here with WebDev Measure through Lighthouse, and we'll do this test here as well. Alright. So the good thing about testing through multiple different tools is you can get different feedback from each one of them, and they tell you what you need to do anyway. We're not going to be looking into all that sort of stuff. I'm definitely not an expert at speed optimization, but this tool has helped dramatically, and or this plugin has helped dramatically. I highly recommend using it. You'll see why after we do this test. So as you can see, we've got a 61, 98, 85, 100 out of 100 for SEO, which is really good to see, but we do need to fix this speed up and best practices here. So I'll go to the Pingdoms tool. Something has gone wrong. We'll try again. Let's try that one more time. I will just use that one URL. Hopefully you'll get a good idea of how it all works. And if Pingdom Tools, for some reason it's testing from Europe now, so we're going to get a slow test anyway, I think. Maybe if I try that through North America. But as you can see, just for you people that want to speed up their site, or maybe if you're using free plugins, what you can actually do is go through your why slow and go through all these different grades that you're going to get, and it will tell you why your site is loading slow. And you can have a read through this. Like, as you can see, if I had a CDN, it'd probably help load all these a lot faster. Add header, expired headers, all that sort of stuff. And then you can go through the waterfall, and this is really handy because what you can do is sort by size, and it will tell you all the large files and why it's loading so slow. As you can see, there's some images that are quite big. We definitely need to fix those up if I was going to optimize this site without any plugins. And this timing here, this will tell you your first paint and contentful paint, and getting these scores here as low as you can is what I recommend aiming for, because that's what Google's going to see or that's what the spiders are going to see first. And if we click on this report tab here in measure, the Lighthouse report, you'll see here that it's a few squares along to see that first meaningful paint or contentful paint. Again, I'm not an expert, but I'm showing you a super simple way on how you can speed your website up just by using one plugin. Alright, so hopefully Pingdom Tools is finished. As you can see, we've got a score of a C, 80 out of 100. Load time's not too bad. The size of the page is quite big, it's 1.3 megabytes. And we've got quite a few requests here. Now, here comes the fun part. I'm going to go in and I'm going to, where's my plugins? Activate WP Rocket. So I'll reactivate that. And when you first install WP Rocket, you'll go to your settings, and I'll just quickly go through the settings here. It's very easy to use. It's a nice friendly interface that they have. What I recommend doing is simply going to your cache tab here, enable the first two and click save, then go to file optimization and go and tick all the boxes that I have, which is all of them, and click save. Now when you click these, you might get a little warning saying, are you sure? Because sometimes when installing these type of plugins, it can break your site. If it does break your site, simply uninstall the plugin and then start again, and maybe just uncheck those. But most of the time you're not going to see any errors. There could be a plugin conflict depending on how many plugins that you have. You may need to uninstall a plugin, and I highly recommend only having one cache plugin, one speed optimization plugin at a time anyway. So have all those ticked. Your media, simply tick all the ones that I have here. So enable for images, enable for iframes, and replace the YouTube iframe with a preview image. Your preload, I just leave that as is. You could probably do it for your sitemap as well. Database, I don't worry about the advanced rules, so it's something you don't need to worry about. These will be unchecked. You can leave them unchecked. If you've got tons and tons and tons of revisions in your database here, so when I first installed this, I knew I had like 500 or something. I clicked that and it cleaned my database up for me. But this is something that you can use to clean your database, because having a nice clean database will help with speed as well. CDN, this is something you want to use if you're going to use a CDN, but if you're not going to, don't worry about it. Heartbeat, this is something I have checked to control because WordPress has this heartbeat type monitor thing. I don't know a great deal about it, but this is the setting that I have. And so we've got add-ons here. If you've got Google tracking and a Facebook pixel, you want to have those checked on. And if you have Cloudflare, which I have as well, you want to have that clicked as well. So the rest I don't really worry about. Imagifier you can install if you like to optimize your images. They do give you credits, but after so many you do have to pay for them. And all these ones down here, your tools, I don't worry about that. And there's some really good tutorials that you can have a look at if you're having trouble understanding what I've just explained. Alright, so I've gone and activated that. I'm going to clear my cache here just to make sure everything's working. Now let's run another test. I'm going to click open a new window. We'll retest and we'll see, we'll compare the score that we had. So while that's analyzing, we'll see how much of a difference that's already made. So this is with GTmetrix. It's one of the recommended tools to use for speed tests. And as you can see, it's already, we've got a 98, a 90, a 1 second load time. It's shrunk my site's file size massively, and we've got more than half the requests as well. So we just compare the two. So before we've got like 0.7 second load time, but look at the size of the page size now compared to what it is here. And the requests, yeah, this made a huge difference. And if we have a look at the different tabs here, so we got an 86 out of 100 and a 77 out of 100. We've got some fixing up that we would have had to do if we didn't use WP Rocket, where we've got all A's and it's looking really good. For the YSlow, use a content delivery network. For some reason, I might not have that connected properly, but even with that, we're still getting a nice 1 second load time, which is really, really good to see. And if we have a look at our waterfall, you know, even with these large images and things like that, we are still getting really good load time. So the timing as well, if you can remember on this one here, it was over a second. Now we're under a second, which is really, really good to see. This is looking so much better already. And that's just by installing and clicking a couple of buttons by using WP Rocket. So let's now have a look, and we'll do a retest of measure. So I'm going to see if I might actually open a new window. And let's compare the tests as well. I'll bring this tab over next to that one. So before we had a 61, 98, 85, 100 out of 100. Alright, so we've got an 81, so there's still a few little things that we need to do, but that is still a much better score. And if we have a look, so we'll compare the two, this one here. So this was the test with, and this is the test without. So as you can see, maybe if I retest that actually, because the cache might not have, also what you do need to do is preload. So if you have that activated as well, it will preload your cache as well. Again, like I said before, I'm not a professional at this, but as you can see, because I just ran that audit again, we've got a 91 now. Things are looking much more greener. Got a few things that we could probably fix with the best practice, and that's why I like using these tools, because we can go along here and have a look and look at our report. And as you can see, that first meaningful paint is right up here. So if we look at the best practices, does not use passive listeners. So these things, you know, like if you really wanted to fuss over them, you could. And everything else, like I'm super happy with that. And that's just by installing one plugin and activating it, and yeah, checking a couple of boxes. Now let's have a look at Pingdom tools. This is one of the ones that a lot of people use. So we'll retest that. It was an 80, a C, 80, and 1.5 load time. Let's see if it made much of a difference. But even just looking at the GTmetrix, how much of a massive difference that is in, you know, page size. You know, it's more than, you know, it's huge reduction in page size. And we've, you know, got a bit of a much better load time here. Page size again's gone down. Requests have gone down dramatically, and we've got an A now, which is super good. Again, you can go through these, and if you wanted to fiddle around with them, you could, but honestly, I wouldn't be stressing too much over getting a 100 out of 100, because it's almost nearly impossible depending on the type of website you have. Like if you have display ads or things like that on your site, it's going to slow down your site. If you've got tons of plugins, that can affect your site, and I highly recommend going through all your plugins and just using the ones that you're going to use. And yeah, also with hosting, it's going to help if you have a fast host. I use SiteGround, and SiteGround's a really good hosting provider. Super fast servers, and their customer support is the best by far that I've ever experienced. But yeah, just a few little things that I've done, and we have a much faster loading website. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, because I will be uploading more videos that's going to help you. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.